At this place in history, we're in Milton, and with Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society, Steve Perkins. Steve, what brings us to Milton on this very blustery, windy day?
Well, Amanda, we're still talking racing, and of course, good racers are going to race in any conditions, even in the wind, but at least it's sunny. So we're in Milton, and we're going to be talking about Catamount Racetrack.
I don't see a racetrack anywhere.
We are standing right in the infield of the Catamount Speedway. As you can see, it's not a racetrack anymore. It's one of Vermont's lost racetracks, but it was in business from 1965 till 1987.
Several types of cars raced at Catamount during this stretch, many familiar to fans of Thunder Road.
From, coupes in the early days up through Flying Tigers, which are probably the most famous here to the late models. It was a NASCAR track in the late 70s and early 80s.
Responsible for the construction of the track, no surprise here, Ken Squire and crew.
And what are some of the famous faces associated with this track?
Oh, when we think of this track, we think of the Dragon brothers, Beaver and Bobby Dragon, Jean-Paul Cabana, later on Robbie Crouch, Dave Dion raced here a little bit. So those are some of these names. Even Kevin LePage, who made his name in the full NASCAR tour later on in life, raced here as well.
What was one specific claim to fame that maybe Catamount had that some of the other racetracks didn't?
Well, the thing that I think of is that in its first year open, it had a live mountain lion as its mascot here. It said, how can we really advertise this? And so went out and bought a mountain lion from a game park and towed the poor thing around in a cage for the first year. Ultimately, I think that didn't work out so well. It was sent back to a game park. But yeah, this track had its own mountain lion, or catamount.
Perhaps most famously, right before the track closed, popular driver Beaver Dragon crashed his car on a practice lap.
And it went up in the air and it flipped over and over and over again before finally coming down, and everyone in the stadium just went deathly quiet. They thought, at the end of this track, we also see the end of one of our most famous drivers. He crawled out unhurt. They towed the car off. He got in the backup car, actually competed in the race. And it's one of those things where every racing fan in Vermont, said, I was there. I remember that.
The track is obviously no longer here. So what is here now?
So this is now the Catamount Industrial Park. But coming soon, in the beginning of June 9th, we're going to have a dedication ceremony for a green historic marker talking about the famous Catamount Stadium.
At this place in history.